Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the workshop today. My name is Michael Chen from AsiaPay, the Security and Risk Director. Today, I will share with you the evolution of fraud. I would like to share some of my insights with the industry. I joined Visa in 1991. At that time, a lot of counterfeit card problem. So I worked out with the crime banks, law enforcement in my sub-region, like China, Taiwan, Macau, and Hong Kong, in combating credit card crime, especially counterfeit card factory and also the semi-finishing counterfeit card center. After Visa, I joined American Express in 2017. And different from Visa is that Amex is a card issuer or acquiring bank. So we handle a lot of credit card crime in terms of issuing side and acquiring side, and also a lot of fraud control. And last year, I joined AsiaPay as the security to do a lot of transaction control. In 2003 and 2009, I co-authored 2 books, Strategies Against Credit Card Crime, together with the professor in China Criminal Police College. Prior of joining Visa, I used to work in police force for 15 years. So all my life journey in Korea basically have a lot of insights on payment. So in payment card industry, basically it's very complicated. In this slide, you can see a 4-party model. Technically say, as a consumer or a card holder, we apply card with the bank, issuing bank. A merchant, when it wants to accept cards, of course, he needs to sign with a acquiring bank, what we call a 4-party model. Card holder, issuing bank, merchant, acquiring bank. And in between, there are a lot of stakeholders around the corner of the world. And on top of it, basically, we have card association like Amex, Visa, MasterCard, Federal Union Pay, CCP. They have the rules and regulations to control the operation of this transaction. They also have the rules to control the fraud and risk management rights. And in between, payment gateway also an important role to transmit the data on behalf of the card holder. So in terms of fraud and operation, what are the common points is that I can say payment risk basically is a shared responsibility amongst each stakeholder in this payment system. Cybersecurity, basically, when a transaction is executed, the sensitive data, primary account number, expiry date, and also the CVV code, basically transmit from this ecosystem within few seconds. It means that all these sensitive data are sitting in each stakeholder platform. So if you are not secure the payment platform, it will be hacked and data leakage. It will become a problem. In terms of fraud, lost, stolen, counterfeit, conversion, mail intercept are the major issues of physician perspective. So they need protection to do all of this business. So I can say in ecosystem risk, it is shared responsibility of all stakeholders.
This could be the case.
Well, so when I joined Visa in 91, at that time, counterfeit card was the major problem.
So there's not much somewhere up the like
the criminal, they compromise data somewhere, they copy the magnetic stripe information of the card. And then they also found a illegal printer to print the base card, counterfeit card. And then they transfer the data to the magnetic stripe of the counterfeit card, and then the criminal can go to do shopping, right? So this case illustrated the first cases. The first case, it was detected by police of Commercial Crime Bureau, Canadian Mounted Police, also Public Security Bureau of Guangzhou. It was a joint operation within these three law enforcement. At scene of crime, the police recovered almost 10,000 counterfeit cards, finished product, and also a few thousand unfinished product. At scene of crime, they also seized embossing machine, encoding machine, tin foil, counterfeit hologram, a lot of things to produce the counterfeit card. Of course, at that time, the printing technology is not so great, so they call it the silk screen printing. Every time they print few cards. But from this case, you will see how significant of the case. Okay, honest to say, between 1991 to 2007, a lot of cases detected in China because I can say the risk community were working closely with the law enforcement in China. So after we neutralized few cases, the criminal, they migrated their factory from China to Taiwan. And this case was detected in 2001. It was a record seizure in terms of printing card. At scene of crime, the police recovered 100,000 finished product and 40,000 half-finished product. And of course, in Taiwan, all the cards were printed with the local bank name, like the China Trust, HSBC, Taishin, Cafe United, Union Bank of Taiwan, and others. So after this detection, something changed.
Maybe it was not quiet.
So now I can tell you what were the old method for data compromise in the old time. Basically, it was wiretapping or handheld skimmer, or implant the skimmer into the POS terminal. And of course, one of the method was to bribe the employee of the bank or the significant merchant. They can compromise the account throughout the transaction. And what was the cause of the counterfeit card at that time? You may want to know. As I mentioned before, the fraudster compromised the account information and then transfer it to the magnetic stripe of the counterfeit card. So the data compromise, if I remember correctly, it was $60 per account. And then the base card, $10, and also the technical people who did the embossing, encoding, or hot stamping machine to do the tin foil, or press the counterfeit hologram and signature panel on the card. It costs about 100. So the whole process to complete the counterfeit card basically was $150. So the criminal, they sold the card to the driver, to the fraudster. They want to go to the shop to swipe the card. for 10 times. $1,000. $1,000 or $1,000. So, and the fraudster, and they have the card, they went to do shopping, and then they can swipe maybe 10 times based on the types, like the account come from classic account, gold account, or platinum account, because each type of card have different credit limit. The value of the counterfeit card depends on the type of the product. So, this case you can see when police did the arrest, usually they will cover embossing machine and coding machine and also the driver and also quite a lot of significant exhibits seized at scene of crime.
I think so. We the one I'll do it over.
So, at that time, there was no solution. But in year 2000, because of the significant problem of the counterfeit card problem, so the banks in AP region and also the banks in EU or EMEA, Canada, they tried the EMV chip. So basically, the EMV chip protection launched in early 2000. So they changed all the whole things in their market, like the card or the POS terminal in the emergent side. So at the end of the day, it worked. The fraud dropped, but unfortunately, it doesn't help a lot because the U.S. bank or the U.S. merchant, they did not cooperate because of the huge investment. They don't want to do it. So what happened was that the Asian country account was fraudulently used in the merchant of U.S. Even they were chip card, but the merchant in U.S. will not support chip. So still a lot of counterfeit card problem happen in U.S. So if you look at the rules of Visa and MasterCard, they only encourage the bank to do it. It's an optional item, whether you go chip or not. But if the merchant thinks, I don't want to go chip, I want to show the risk liability, I can compensate to the issuer. It means that Visa can't do anything. So, but fortunately, something happened. If you look at this case, you can see in 2017, a significant data breach in Target department store in U.S. So the criminal, they hacked the system, and then they compromised 40 million credit card account information. 40 million, a big number. So it triggered the attention of the then President Obama. So because of this case and the previous significant hacking cases, Obama signed an executive order to force the bank in U.S. to go chip immediately. So the issuing bank in U.S., the merchant bank in U.S. have to do all the whole things immediately. Then, what happened? Now, after 10 years, this number represents the number of 2022. So, after 10 years, I can say all card scheme, all issuing bank across the globe, all of their product with EMV chip. Basically, the criminal, they can't replicate or clone the information of the chip card. So it makes a very secure platform for the payment card industry, especially in face-to-face environment. Right. So if you look at the number in 2022, 12.8 billion EMV chip card were in global circulation, right? And 93% of card-present transactions conducted globally are chip card. The card talk to the terminal with the EMV technology. So the counterfeit card problem gone, was addressed properly. So how do you think? There is no more counterfeit card problem. So do you think we all enjoy the peace of the life? The answer is not. Because you can imagine in the past 10 to 15 years, basically the technology, the innovation, or the other high-tech things happen. All the business are migrating to new technology to cater the needs of the customer. So everything goes to AI or IoT or the other quantum computing, everything, right? So same as the criminal, basically the criminal are smart enough. They never behind the others. So since the migration of the EMV chip, they know they don't have more business opportunity. So they migrated fraud from face-to-face counterfeit card to CMP fraud over the network. They did a lot of phishing, hacking, or transaction. So, in this case, the police of cybersecurity and technology crime bureau in Hong Kong, they did arrest a syndicate related with fraud. So you can see nowadays the exhibit sees a scene of crime or payment card fraud is entirely different from the old time. Now they only recover the mobile phone, computer, and then the telephone chip. So, and also some mouse pool. It can distribute over a few hundred SMS message one time. So this was the migration of the payment card fraud from the traditional counterfeit card to the digital payment fraud. So this chart illustrates the current situation of the EU region, right? Of the EU region, of the Euro region, right? Technical to say, when we talk about the fraud type, usually it's lost, stolen, counterfeit, and then mail intercept, mail order, or account not present, e-commerce, right? From this chart, you can see 80% of the fraud incurred by CMP fraud type, card not present fraud. This is the global scenario. In AP region, I can say they're more or less the same. The issuer in AP region, they suffer the same. And so 80% of the fraud incurred by CMP fraud, and also I can tell you 80% of the CMP fraud basically are non-authenticated transactions. In this chart, you can see for card not present transaction, there are two types. The first type, the first green box, the first type is what we call the authenticated transaction. The merchant engage in 3D secure, so every time the message from merchant will be transmitted to the issuer, and the issuer will connected with the cardholder to confirm they are really engaged in this transaction. So what we call it is an authenticated transaction. But unfortunately, some of the big companies like Google, Facebook, PayPal, Apple Pay, because of the business decision, they did not join the program. They agree to return the money to the issuer when the cardholder dispute the transaction. They agree to shoulder the liability. But do you think the issuer happy of that? Absolutely not. Simply because in using side, they have big concerns, not only the money, but also the bank's reputation and also the client experience, the consumer experience. Because some of the consumer, they use their card for a lot of recurring transactions. But if the card was compromised and fraudulent use, they have to make changes again and again. So last but not least, it will also trigger the attention of the regulator if the issuing bank not doing the good job. So these are the challenge of the issuing bank around the world, I can say.
So we have that layers.
So AsiaPay as a leading and payment gateway in AP region, we support all of our merchants to accept credit card, debit card, QR code, wallet, buy now pay later, and even crypto, and also over the counter. So our gateway support all of our merchants 24/7. So as a responsible payment gateway, we treat security as the most important things, first priority. So what we are doing to protect and secure the payment gateway.
The one at the day, but one.
So basically, data. Okay, basically I can say there is no silver bullet to do the fraud control. We must adopt multi-layer to do it. From this chart, you can see this is a global risk strategy of Visa. We use the data to do a few things. The first of one, of course, because we transmit all the data around the world, so we need to use the PCI data security standard to do control, to protect the data first, and also no matter in payment application data security standard, or the PIN security standard, or even in data security standard, few things. And then, of course, encryption the data is one of the tools to prevent fraud happen. The second thing is that we also need to devaluate the data. So you can imagine if we devaluate the data by tokenization or by EMV chip, it means that even the data will compromise by the fraudster, but they can't use it. Then there's no value. So it means that the fraudster will give up at the end. Harness data. We also use the big data to do a lot of system enhancement. We use our real-time alert system called Pay Alert to do the transaction monitoring. It means that if we can predict fraud in advance, we can protect the interests of our merchant. Lastly, but not least, our system like Pay Alert, we can empower our merchant to do some form of setting to cater the needs of the market in terms of fraud control. So, this slide shows the risk and risk management framework of AsiaPay. As a leading payment gateway, basically, we are aligned with the high standard and requirement of Visa or MasterCard or Amex. We adopt all the things we just mentioned before. We are engaged in the PCI data service standard compliance, and also we were 27001 compliance through the